Welcome all. Today's video is related to the chapter acid, base and salt. We all know when elements they combine they'll form compounds. These compounds according to their chemical properties we can classify it into three: acids, base and salts. So in this chapter mainly we are discussing about the properties of acids and bases. We'll also discuss about some salts that we are using in our daily life. So the indicators tell us whether a substance is acid or base by changing color. So indicators are the substances which let us know the given substance is acid or base by changing their color. So there are three types of indicators: natural indicators, olfactory indicators and synthetic indicators. First one, natural indicators. Natural indicators which are obtained from natural resources. Examples: litmus, turmeric and red cabbage, etc. Mainly when we are discussing about litmus, which is obtained from lichen. Lichens are the combination of algae and fungi. This litmus, either they are available in the form of solution or in the form of paper. That litmus solution is in purple color. Litmus papers are available in two colors, red and blue. This all about natural indicators. Next type of indicators, that olfactory indicators. First we learned that indicators, they will let us know whether the substance is acid or base by changing their color. But some indicators are there, they will help us to know acidic or basic nature by changing the smell. Example: vanilla and onion, clove oil, etc. are there. Next type of indicators are synthetic indicators. Synthetic indicators are the indicators which are synthesized in the laboratory by using many chemicals. Example: phenolphthalein and methyl orange. So now we learned about what are indicators which let us know whether the substance is acid or basic by changing their color. So natural indicators which are obtained from natural resources. Example: litmus, turmeric, red cabbage, etc. So litmus is important. It's obtained from lichens and it's available in two forms, either in the form of solution or in the form of paper. So next one, olfactory, which all about smell, which changes the smell while mixing with acid or base. Synthetic indicators which are synthesized in the laboratory. Next we will be learning about different types of indicators and their original color and the color change in acid and base medium. So here you have different types of indicators, their original color, what changes they'll make in acid and what changes they'll make in base. So first indicator is that litmus solution. The original color of litmus solution is purple. When it mixes with acid, it changes its color to red. When it mixes with base, it shows blue color. Next type of indicator is that red litmus paper. Red litmus paper's original color red. It will not show any change in acid. If you are dipping in acid, red litmus paper stays same. But when you are mixing with base or dipped in base, it shows blue color. Next type of indicator, blue litmus paper. Original color of blue litmus paper blue. It will not show any changes in base, but in acid, blue will change to red. Next type of indicator is that turmeric. Its original color yellow. It will not show any changes in acid, but in bases it changes its color to reddish brown. This we are familiar with this color when any food ingredient stick on our cloth. If you are washing with soap, the yellow color of that mark changes to reddish brown because soap is basic in nature. Next indicator is that red cabbage juice. Actual color purple. In acid it shows reddish color and in base it shows greenish yellow color. Phenolphthalein, which is synthetic indicator. It's colorless and it will not show any changes in acid. It shows pink color in base. Methyl orange, as the name indicates, it's orange in color. In acid it shows yellow color and in base it shows In acid it shows red color and in base it shows yellow color. Next type 2 are olfactory indicators which will not show any color, only changes the smell. In acid it will not show any changes in smell. But when you are dipping in base, these indicators which vanishes their smells, which loses the smells. So if it loses the smells, we can identify that which is basic medium. If no changes, smell, it's acid medium. Let's learn the properties of acids and bases. Acids which are sour taste, but in the case of bases, they are bitter in taste. And acids turn blue litmus to red. But in the case of bases, they will turn red litmus to blue. Both acids and bases, they will conduct electricity. To prove this, we can do one experiment. Put hydrochloric acid solution in a beaker. Put hydrochloric acid solution in a beaker. And place 2 metal rods or graphite rods in it. Metal rods or graphite rods in it. Connect the graphite rods with a battery and switch and a bulb. So, while you are owning the switch, at that time you can see that this bulb start glowing, which indicate that acids conduct electricity. Acid, either you can take acid or base. So here I took hydrochloric acid and here metal rods are there. Metal rods are there. I should connect that with a battery, switch and bulb. So while you are owning the switch, at that time this bulb start glowing, which indicate that hydrochloric acid conduct electricity. Or if you are taking NaOH or any other bases also, it show the same. So which indicate that acids and bases both conduct electricity. Next property of acid is that which releases H plus ions, hydrogen ions in aqueous solution, which releases hydrogen ions in aqueous solution. And in the case of bases, they'll release OH, hydroxyl ions in aqueous solution. Hydroxyl ions in aqueous solution. For example, we all know that HCl, hydrochloric acid. When it reacts with water, it produces H plus and Cl minus, which dissociated and which forms hydrogen ions and chlorine ions. So those who are releasing hydrogen ions that we called as acids. While reacting with water or any aqueous solution, if they are releasing OH minus, that we called as bases. For example, NaOH. When it reacting with water, it forms Na plus and OH minus. When these bases, those bases which are dissolved in water, that we called as alkali. Another one property of base is that which is slippery to touch in the form of when it is in aqueous form. It's slippery to touch when it is in the form of aqueous. So important, while you do not add water to acids, always you should add acid to the water. Otherwise, the mixture of acids and water may splash out and causes burning. So while you are diluting acid, slowly you should add acid to water. Next we will be discussing about different types of acid. Basis on occurrence, acids are classified into two: natural acids and mineral acids. Natural acids, another way you can say that organic acids, it's occurring naturally. Mineral acids, in other ways you can say that inorganic acids which are manufactured in laboratory. Acetic acid is an example of natural acid, and hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, all these things are the examples of mineral acids. Next, basis on the solubility or the reaction with the water. Acids you can divide it into two: strong acids and weak acids. Strong acids which will completely dissociated in aqueous solution, or you can say that completely dissociated in its aqueous solution or in water. So when hydrochloric acid reacting with water, it releases H plus plus Cl minus, means hydrogen ions and chlorine ions. So here This hydrogen ion is not stable. So always which can't stay like H plus. So it will go and combine with H2O and it form H3O plus. H3O plus, which we called as hydronium ions. Which we called as hydronium ions. In the case of weak acids, they are partially dissociated. Here you can see one example, acetic acid. When it dissociated, it formed hydrogen ion plus acetate ion. Here also you can see hydrogen ions, hydrogen is there, but it's not dissociating or it's not dividing or it's not separating. So you can say that this is partially dissociated one. So these are known as weak acids. While you are dividing bases also you can divide it into two, strong base and weak base. Completely dissociated, if the base is completely dissociated in aqueous solution, that we called as strong base. If partially dissociated means that is weak base. Example, sodium hydroxide is a strong base, magnesium hydroxide, ammonium, these all are known as weak base. So here we discussed about the properties of acids and base. Sour taste, here bitter taste, and acids always turn blue litmus to red and conduct electricity and releases hydrogen ions when they are reacting with water. In the case of bases, their bitter taste turn red litmus to blue. They are also conducting electricity and slippery in touch and also releases hydroxyl ions OH in aqueous solution. Okay, now we are discussing about organic acids and their sources. Here you can see some organic acids, acetic acid which is present in vinegar, oxalic acid which is present in tomato, lactic acid, milk and curd containing that, and tamarind containing tartaric acid, and lemon and citrus fruits which contains citric acid. Ascorbic acid is present in guar and amla, malic acid is present in apple, and formic acid, another name is that methanoic acid, which is present in the strings of ants and bee. So these are the organic acids and their sources. Next, Arrhenius' concept of acids and bases. What Arrhenius said about acids and bases? He said that, or Arrhenius said that, the acids are the substances which furnishes or gives hydrogen ions in aqueous solution. H plus ion in aqueous solution. Then he said that bases are the substances which furnishes or gives OH minus hydroxyl ions in aqueous solution. The substances which gives H plus ion when they are reacting with water, that we call as acids. The substances which give OH minus ions when they are reacting with water, that we call as bases, according to Arrhenius. Let's see, how do acids and bases react with metals? First we'll discuss about acids. Acids, when they react with metals, it forms salts and hydrogen gas. Let's see with an example. HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, it's an acid. Zinc, Zn, which is a metal. Zinc is a metal and HCl is an acid. When they react together, it forms zinc chloride. Zinc chloride, ZnCl3. Zinc chloride, which is a salt. And they'll release or liberate hydrogen gas. Then what happens when a base react with metals? When the base react with metal, at that time also they release salt and hydrogen gas. NaOH is a base, zinc is metal. When sodium hydroxide reacting with zinc, it produces sodium zincate. It's a salt. And also it's liberate hydrogen gas. So we have a test for the detection of this hydrogen gas liberated when acids and base react with metals. So the gas evolved after the reactions. Here also you can see hydrogen gas. Here also after the reactions is tested by bringing the lighted candle near to it. So when you are showing this lighted candle, if the gas evolved is hydrogen, it bumps with pop-up sound. Which bumps with pop-up sound. So if it happens, we can identify that the gas produced is hydrogen. Hydrogen is highly inflammable. So if it is not happened, we can recognize that hydrogen gas is not produced. So, burning with pop-up sound is the characteristic test for hydrogen gas. We are going to learn about how the acids react with metal carbonate and metal hydrogen carbonates. So first one, metal carbonate. Metal carbonate, when they are reacting with acid, what will happen? So metal carbonate means metal plus carbonate. One metal which is attached with carbonate, that we called as metal carbonate. When they are reacting with acids, it forms respective salt, carbon dioxide and water. Respective salt, carbon dioxide and water. For example, Na2CO3, sodium carbonate. Na, that is sodium. Sodium is a metal. CO3 will represent carbonate at CO3 2 minus. That leave this ion, and if you are carbonate, you will represent CO3. So sodium is a metal. When it's attaching with the carbonate, that we call it as sodium carbonate, it is a metal carbonate. When it reacting with an acid, HCl, hydrochloric acid, it forms NaCl. We all know that NaCl is common salt. And it produces carbon dioxide gas, and also it produces water, H2O. Let's see what happens when metal hydrogen carbonate, otherwise you can say that bicarbonate. Metal hydrogen carbonate, otherwise you can say that metal bicarbonate. When they are reacting with acid, it also forms salts, carbon dioxide gas and water. So, when acids reacting with metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonate or bicarbonate, they will release salt, respective salt, carbon dioxide gas and water. For example, sodium bicarbonate. Sodium is a metal, hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate, or you can say that sodium bicarbonate. When reacting with acid, that is hydrochloric acid, it forms sodium chloride, salt, and they'll releases water and carbon dioxide gas. So when a metal carbonate and metal hydrogen carbonate reacting with acid, they'll produce respective salt, carbon dioxide gas and water. So the gas evolved this carbon dioxide here. For that, the evolution of this gas we will test with the help of lime water. So lime water, that is calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide. So when you are passing this carbon dioxide gas through lime water, it turns to milky white. When carbon dioxide gas is passing through lime water, it turns milky white. This happens because the formation of calcium carbonate. This happens because of the presence of white precipitate, that is calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate, which is present either in the form of limestone, marble, chalk. These are the either ways you can say that these are the different forms of calcium carbonate. Lime water, that is calcium hydroxide. When this carbon dioxide passes through lime water, it turns milky white because of the presence of or the formation of calcium carbonate. So here what happens when calcium hydroxide, that is lime water, carbon dioxide, CO2 carbon dioxide, when carbon dioxide passes through lime water, that both will react and which form white precipitate, that is calcium carbonate, and which produces water. So again and again, if you are passing carbon dioxide through this, already this formed calcium carbonate, again and again excess carbon dioxide, if you are passing through this lime water, this carbon dioxide start reacting with the white precipitate calcium carbonate, and it forms CaHCO3 twice, calcium bicarbonate. So here what happens means, if it forms calcium bicarbonate, it disappears its white color. It disappears its white color when you are adding excess carbon dioxide through lime water. Hope you all understood the lesson. Keep watching. Thank you for watching.